the Cuyahoga County Committee of the Whole work session for Tuesday, August 5th, 2025 will please come to order. The time is now 2:35, and I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Good afternoon, everyone. As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Kelly. Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Mr. Castleberry.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Gallagher's absent at the moment. Mr. Schlepper. Ms. Conwell. Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is absent at the moment. Ms. Turner. Mr. Hauser. Ms. Simon. Council President Miller.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And the next item on the agenda is public comment. Has anybody signed in?
No public comment has been submitted.
Okay, so this is our first truly informal work session. We will have informal discussion about the challenges that lie ahead and allow members to share information about what they're doing in their districts and/or their committees. The work session is a public meeting, not an executive session. Anything may be discussed. We're meeting here to facilitate a more informal discussion. When possible, I will let the discussion flow without people having to be recognized to speak. If I lightly tap the gavel, I ask that everyone stop speaking, and I will either call out an order of speakers or I might try to help focus the discussion. A good discussion could continue for some time, but for this first session, we're going to conclude about 3:30 so that we can complete the other items that are on this afternoon's agenda. I will make preliminary comments about our financial environment, followed by discussion, then followed by the opportunity for members to discuss their activities or concerns. The administration and council have recognized together since the time of the budget update last fall that we are in a very serious financial situation. The administration has taken actions, and we are having monthly planning meetings together. When the base budget is prepared in preparation for the biennial budget process, it is not unusual for it to show deficits that have to be addressed, but this time the deficits are larger than normal in both the general fund and the HHS levy fund. The bottom line is that we're heading into the most difficult financial environment that we've seen during the new government, and this doesn't even factor in very much for state and federal policy uncertainty and the possibility of an economic downturn. Among unpleasant possibilities, we may have to use funds historically reserved for capital projects, such as the casino revenue and ARPA, to balance the budget. The situation is made worse because the state legislature did not give us good language on the sin tax, and we may not be able to use an enhanced sin tax to meet our obligations for maintenance of the ballpark and the arena. We can't wait until October 14th to start work on the budget. We must begin now and all be involved. One thing that the administration has asked for is that if anyone has items they would like to see in the budget, please let Meredith, Trevor, and me know, and we will work with the administration prior to budget introduction. This budget will be very tight and it will be difficult to add things later. So, with those opening comments, I open the discussion as to how we can best handle these financial challenges and move forward. Yes.
What would your recommendation be?
So, my recommendation is that we all take time to become as informed as possible about the budget situation and the process, that we we think about what the best ways are to find cost savings or revenue increases. That would be some initial thoughts.
And you're going to keep your thoughts to yourself in regards to, after you hear from everybody, you'll share with us? Or you want to tell us what you're thinking so we can have an idea of digesting what you say to give response to?
So I'd like to wait a little while and see what, I don't want to too much direct the discussion, so I'd like to see what people come up with.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are we supposed to be forthcoming, transparent? We have media in here. Are we supposed to be transparent? Because we know that some of the things that we may discuss or say in this room might happen or may not be used as a tool to be used for the budget.
So that's a very good question, and the budget process involves both public meetings and public discussions, and it also involves internal meetings and internal negotiations. And I think that it's in the public interest for there to be a frank, open, and public discussion about the issues that we're dealing with, and to let people in on the process and not do all the sausage making in private. But nevertheless, it's also sensitive, and so each person should keep in mind that what we're saying here is an open public process, and give some thought as to what you are willing to put on the record and what you might want to deal with otherwise.
Okay, so thank you for that. So Health and Human Services, to my colleagues, is a shortfall of $15 million. And so being the health chair, current health chair, I've been trying to have conversations with the directors, which I'm sure has been given their direction from the administration, and also having conversations with Walter to look at what could be cut back from HHS in order to get it to the zero balance line. My whole thought is to make sure that it's least restrictive harm to the residents of this county. So there's several initiatives that are out there that the county administration has moved forward with in the previous years. So I am trying to look at those as, and first you got to find out where they are at in the contract period and all that moving forward for the 2 years. I have some other ideas, but because it's a public forum at the moment, I want to look at how we can take care of it internally first, and then I will look at some things later. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So one thing that occurs to me as a strategic kind of question is, do we take a narrow approach that we got to totally focus on county operations, and that things where we're funding outside programs and outside agencies have to be secondary? Or do we take a approach that it's a broader system and the partners are an important part of the process, and we can't just balance this with no regard to the impact on the partners. So that, I think, is going to be one of the challenging things we're going to have to wrestle with. So I'd like to note for the record that Councilman Jones has joined the meeting.
I'll take a little bit if you don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. I won't mind, I don't sit on finance, and I should pay a little bit more attention, but all the different funding streams or revenue dollars that we have, I won't mind knowing what they all are and what could be used for the budget, not used for the budget. Because every once in a while, the opiate fund, right? There's a significant dollars going to this. We only got a little bit left, but can we, what funds are out there, and it's in the whole in our universe that could be used to deal with the challenges that are ahead of us.
Yes, I think that's a very appropriate suggestion, and I'm sure Trevor's taking note of it, and that he can put something together for us and circulate it. And I think it would be very good background information for us going into this biennial budget process.
And to my chair and my president, are there discussions going on with the administration, and are they in partnership, working together, and you're coming up with solutions, or some loggerheads at this stage that they're not willing to move on and stuff like that? How would you say it is?
There aren't any loggerheads at this time. We're holding regular monthly meetings, and we're going through it and starting to try to figure out where we are and what needs to be done.
So it's more of a partnership at this time, because I've
Right.
seen other budget process where,
And we want to keep it that way.
because other budget processes are, there's the April 1st or the February 1st deadline. Here's the budget, boom, you deal with it for 2 months. It's not working that way, right?
We want this to be a collaborative process, and for the council and the administration to work together, and so far, it's primarily been Meredith and me and some of the staff meeting with the administration people, but this discussion that we're having today opens the opportunity for all of you to provide comments and suggestions, either in terms of specific budgetary actions, or maybe just thoughts on what the strategy or mental frame of mind should be. So it could be either one.
That's good, because it's, the way you described it, it's showtime serious and could be very difficult, and working together is much more productive. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Just want to share, in our last budget cycle, there was a big piece that I really thought would have made a difference, and probably would have made a difference in why HHS is 15 million in the hole, is to make sure that the administration going forward with any future budget cycles is to make sure that ideas that they know are coming on board, those contracts should be put into the 2-year budget or the annual budget. And I know it's our job here at the county to make sure that all children are safe. And so I think with the Child Wellness Campus, that might be where we currently see some overage in the budget, because we're mandated to take care of them, but it was not put into the budget. And then another major thing we had this year was the board and care contracts went exuberant. So, and we used some of those funds to get us through to the end of this year. But just going forward for the administration to, if they have ideas or things like that, this is the time now, the 2-year budget, to put them in.
So I think that in the last biennial budget and in the budget update, working together with the administration, we did a better job than we've done in the past of identifying as many things as possible that we knew about and having them included. But still, it certainly wasn't perfect, and our aim is to do better, and that we want everything that we think we're going to have to be spending money on to be identified and budgeted for. That's what the process ideally should be. Other comments?
Time to go to work.
Okay, so, yes. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank the council president, and I want to thank all my colleagues, those of you that have made some thoughtful comments already. I mean, Dale pretty much laid it out for us, so I don't really want to repeat what he said. We're definitely entering one of the most challenging financial environments since the reorganization of this government. The projected deficits in both the general fund and the HHS levy are serious and they're structural. And these aren't gaps we can fill with temporary fixes. So I want to recognize the work already underway by the administration and by OBM and our fiscal office. The transparency and early adjustments are appreciated. They've helped lay a strong foundation for what must be a rigorous and collaborative process. So as we move forward, we need a realistic budget, we all know that, and a balanced budget, one that reflects our true fiscal position from day one. And that requires clear priorities, accurate forecasting, and shared discipline. We're also operating within significant limitations. Resources we previously relied on, like capital reserves, casino revenue, and enhanced syntax, are either constrained or uncertain. The urgency to align spending with available revenue couldn't be clearer. So let me say that each department plays a vital role, including public safety. This is not about placing blame or pointing fingers, but across the board, we need to ensure that spending aligns with the budget adopted so we can meet our obligations and maintain public trust. I'm still learning on the job. I lean on the president a lot as he served as this council's, I think, only finance chair? No?
Except
one
for
other?
Dave Greenspan.
Okay. But as budget hearings approach, this is the time for us to define our shared priorities. What services must be protected? Where can we responsibly adjust? And how do we prepare not just for this budget, but for a long-term financial stability? So we may need to consider expenditure controls, capital delays, and efficiency reviews and other strategies that might help us move towards balance. So I'm listening closely to what everyone is saying, what everyone will contribute between now and whenever we start our hearings. It's important to hear from everyone because that's the only way we can move forward together. So I look forward to working with each of you and with the executive and his team to craft a budget that is balanced, honest, and centered towards the needs of our residents.
Good job.
Thank you.
Anything else on the budget, Marty?
Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned the gateway stuff, right? And we know it's a cluster mess, and we've been trying to figure it out for a long time. What impact could that have on this 2-year budget cycle? with the current set of circumstances. I know we took a hit, and is it factored in to this budget at all? Because we had to tap into some of our dollars to take care of the previous obligation that we have. And sometimes you don't factor in, when you do a mission or playoff stuff for the city of Cleveland, you don't include that, it's just extra money coming in. In the reverse, are we budgeting this, and if not, we'd have to take it out of there. And the syntax is not gonna kick in anytime within this 2-year cycle, so I wouldn't mind going deeper on that.
So, we agreed along with the city of Cleveland to put in money. I believe it was $20 million apiece, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was to pay for certain relatively short-term identified needs at the ballpark and the arena. And even with that, we did not pay for it up front, but we essentially internally bonded it out, and we're paying for it over time using for this year we used a portion of the casino revenue, and it's a decision going forward as to whether that continues to be the approach. But the thing is that the two sports facilities are gonna each need something like $75 or $100 million over the next 10 years or so for continuing maintenance, and right now we're obligated to provide that, and we have not identified how to pay for it. So with the an enhanced syntax being the most obvious solution, but the path to that is not clear at this time. So this is kind of hanging over our heads, and where it's gonna end up, it would be hard to say at this point, but it's something that we have to take seriously, and I think it's gonna kind of have some ripple effects on everything else we do. So
And
that's-
thank you for
that's
that
my
answer.
thought.
And I bring it up in this context because could it affect our budget? As we make that decision on our obligation, the challenges that we see right now can only get worse if we have to go down that path. Would that be accurate?
Yes, it could affect our budget.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I think that when we get to the end of our current contract extension, Trevor, can you tell us when that is?
Trevor Mackler, County Council staff. I believe the Cleveland Guardians Progressive Field lease expires in 2036 with options, 2 5-year options to renew. And the Cavaliers, I believe, is after the 2034, 2035 season. I'll have to double check those, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
that's right.
So when we get to the end of these contract times, well, that kind of brings us to an inflection point, and we would have to make some decisions about, well, what do we do going forward, and do we continue to maintain these facilities? Do we get leases extended? And if so, how is the maintenance paid for? So it kind of would be up for renegotiation at that point. Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, seeing nothing else about finances, we're going to take that as an initial discussion and food for thought for everybody. And so we're going to go to the second part of our session, which is more freewheeling and informal, and just give anybody who would like to the opportunity to talk about what they're doing in their committee or something that they're working on in their district, something that they might need the council's help on, something they're concerned about. So the floor is open. And we're going to start over there with Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. President. So in my district, I'm meeting with the mayors and the economic development people to see what they have coming up in the future. I've met agreement on what date we. But we're also working with the Cahoon project that leads system with trails and bridges and so forth. Go out there and walk those trails. So
This, by the way, is right next to Huntington Park for everyone's orientation.
and then most importantly right now is the consolidated dispatch that is in North Olmsted. Remarkable job on that. North Olmsted, Fairview Park, Bay Village just voted last night to go there, so they also have Olmsted Township, Olmsted Falls, Berea. So the consolidated dispatch area Southwest Center, so there might be more people. So that's what's going on.
Thank you. Who else has some comments?
Well, go ahead, Mark. I've talked too much. I'll talk later.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things, talk about District 4, and, you know, we all have a lot of public works projects going on, but one thing that I was really big and problematic in my district was complaints about the roads. So the county's doing a great job partnering with the cities, getting some of these road projects going in the Parma Heights, Middleburg Heights communities. So I'm glad to appreciate the work we're doing on that. One thing I'm really excited about, it was really necessary. Last month we launched the mental health co-response program in the communities of Parma Heights, kind of piggybacking off of some of the east side communities that put that. So we do have mental health professionals able to work with our first responders, with people that are in crisis. I think it's a great need in our community, and I want to, you know, hopefully that's something we can continue. Obviously, as we're sitting here talking about our budgets, and we're going to have a lot of priorities to figure out here in a short time. But that's one thing that I think is really going to help our communities, and I appreciate the county's efforts and to help, you know, some of the more vulnerable people amongst us. Thank you.
Hopefully, a good co-response program could be cost-effective and take some burden off of police departments and allow some things to be handled through mental health work.
Great, excellent point. Thank you, Council President.
Marty?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just got a couple. First, I want to thank you for doing this. I've been asking for having the opportunity just to talk with our colleagues in an informal way, and I believe it's going to be productive, and this is the first step here. One thing that's been on my mind since I got here is the recognition of council as a body in regards to the general public. We've been around for 13 years, and I can go outside and ask almost everybody on the street. 99% will say, what is a county council? And the next step is, who is your county council person? We are their elected officials, and them having an understanding of that we exist is important, not because I want to be Marty Sweeney, look at how good I am, but just the body itself. And I'm just going to keep chirping about it as much as I can, and hopefully we'll take the initiative to move in that direction, to go from 99% not knowing us to more people. So that's my commentary. Just on the responsibilities as the HR and Appointments Chair, which I appreciate the opportunity to serve. I'll give a little update. Sarah Nemasal is the director. She's wonderful. She's our subject matter expert. And I've been doing this 8 months now, so over the break that we're gonna have, I'm gonna ask her to sit with me a little bit and ask me what her priorities are. She's the point person by the administration or our county executive to say, take this responsibility and do what you know is the best for the citizens of Cuyahoga County. And the one thing we talked about was classified, unclassified. I want to get a little more depth with that. But what she wants to get done, I want to help champion it once I understand it. So hopefully we get a little bit more active. What we do most of the time is just pass contracts. So if there's things that could be changed for the greater good of the systems of HR, I'm going to ask her to share with me, then share with my colleagues to see if there's any appetite, and then we'll work through the committee and then bring it to the whole council. And on the appointment process, I'm working with the administration on it. It's, if I could, what we have is, by charter, we have a system in place. And I'm going to ask Mike to share what the system is in place, and then I'll have some comments on, after 13 years of a charter, I may have some thoughts. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Councilman. Just for those of you, I think generally council is aware of how appointments and confirmation works. But just as a refresher, I think the last time this was brought before the council as a substantive charter issue was basically nearly a decade ago. But just so everyone has a reminder, the way appointments work under our charter form of government is that the appointment power is principally vested in the county executive. The executive makes appointments both of directors and officers of the county, but also to boards and commissions, external boards and commissions, as well as internal boards and commissions. There are a few exceptions to that, but by and large, the vast majority of appointments are made by the executive, and the vast majority of those appointments are confirmed by council. And the way the charter operates, and it used to be 30 days, but there was a charter change in the early days of the government. The council has 60 days to either confirm or reject that appointment. If council takes no action within those 60 days, then the appointment is deemed confirmed by operation of law. And so council, as soon as an appointment comes over, and this is something we always try to stay on top of as staff, is as soon as that appointment comes over, the clock starts running. And so council needs to act. And so that's just one thing to keep in mind for everyone. I know some members are newer. And then the one other thing that was included in that charter change was that the county executive was granted the authority to appoint interim officers, and this isn't necessarily about boards and commissions, but for county directors and officials, the county executive can appoint interim officers to serve as departmental director or inspector general without confirmation of the council for up to 120 days. So if there's a vacancy, let's say in the one of the director level positions, an interim can be appointed for up to 120 days without council confirmation, at which point either a new permanent director can be appointed or council can approve that interim appointment be extended for a period of time.
And can you talk about the state law in regards to not being removed until you're replaced?
Yes, so there's a provision in the general code that applies both to state appointments as well as local appointments that says, unless otherwise provided in a local ordinance or bylaws that those who are serving in an office of public trust may continue to serve until their successor is appointed or elected and qualified, meaning that they're essentially sworn into office. So there are a lot of instances, if somebody is serving on a board or commission and the bylaws or code of regulations of that board don't say otherwise, that the default rule is that they may continue to serve until a successor is appointed and qualified. So there have been instances in the past where people theoretically could continue serving beyond their term of appointment for an extended period of time because no successor appointment was made.
And through the chair to our legal counsel extraordinaire, so the appointing authority would be the executive. They could take no action on a current board member, and they could stay in perpetuity, and we'd have no say-so in regards to the term of that individual, because it would never come to us.
Depending on the board, that would, I think, be the default rule, correct?
Yeah, that's a majority. And there's a few boards out there in the state. With the lottery, you got 2 months and then there's a vacancy. So there could be some discussion on if they're done serving, is there a vacancy instead of they continue serving? And it's by state law, so there might have to be a state thing or it could be a charter thing. So that's what I wanted to share with everybody in regards to that one particular topic. So thank you, Michael.
So Michael, on that point, could you clarify if we decided that we wanted to change that provision, that the successor, that the person can automatically serve until their successor is approved, would we have the power to change that on our own? And if yes, would it be by ordinance or charter? And if no, what would the state have to do?
And I've had these conversations with Councilman Sweeney. It's a very case-by-case analysis, that type of question, because I think when we're talking about internal boards, so boards created by the county government, right? A board like, let's say, the Citizens Advisory on Equity, that board is created purely by ordinance of council. So I think if council wanted to change the terms of the appointments or the holdover capacity and all of that, it's clearly within the authority of the council as the legislative body of the charter government. Where it becomes less clear and where potentially, even with a charter change, I don't know that you could change it, is when we talk about external boards where the county is maybe one of multiple appointing authorities. So for instance, the Port Authority or the RTA or some of these external boards that are either arms of state government or sort of partnerships with other public entities, typically either state law or the bylaws of that entity govern how holdover appointments work, and I don't want to say definitively one way or the other, but I think it would be more challenging to argue that by council ordinance or charter change that we could change the holdover capacity of appointments to those boards.
But
Okay, that's helpful, thank you.
But through the chair to Michael, since it's governed by the Ohio Revised Code, we could ask the legislature to consider what we come up with to change the law. And we do have the reality of being one of 2 chartered counties out of the 88 counties that are out there. So we could be very specific about Cuyahoga County and Summit County if we are asking for something through the chair. Would that be accurate?
That's correct. I mean, it's state revised code, so the state legislature could change that.
Yeah, and I'm going to be an advocate for this body. If something comes up, we can advocate for ourselves at the State House, and if we want something done, we try to get it done that way, is an option. So thank you. And I just want to give a shout out to Director Alvarado. He takes this very seriously in regards to the partnership that we have with the appointment process. He's filling all the vacancies that were kind of backed up before. And I'm having discussions with the administration in regards to the growth opportunity of understanding the process of the appointment and then coming to us with the recommendation. I'm talking to the executive and Director Alvarado in regards to a little bit more of a dialogue before it gets to us. And it's moving in the right direction. It's not all the way all the way where I want it to be, but we're going to continue talking about it. So that's my little update on HR and the appointment processes. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, great.
In District 10, since I took office 8 months ago, we've had a lot of changes politically. I'm looking at 3 new mayors, East Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, and University Heights. We are also going to go down from 2 city councilmen to 1 city councilman this November. As far as road projects, I have not seen any since the 8 months I've took office. So if anyone has any advice on how to advocate for that work, I welcome the input. As far as committee and community development, we have our CDSG grant. I've had people reach out with concerns. For example, the Land Bank, which is a nonprofit, is concerned if they are in a tie with the city, how would that be decided, especially since that particular nonprofit does work on behalf of multiple cities. And lastly, mental health. I was looking to do maybe a countywide mental health summit, and so I was not aware of the work that Councilman Castleberry is doing in his district, and so I look forward to connecting with him, and I'm sure that was the point of this kind of meeting, to learn what each other are doing. And so I just thank you for bringing us together and look forward to working with everyone.
Yes, Robert.
Hi there, good afternoon. Some updates about District 6. I'll start with what I'm calling my mayor's tour. As you know, I have 17 communities, so that makes it very, very cumbersome. I have connected with about 7 out of the 17 mayors, really robust conversations surrounding just what's going on in their communities, ways that I can advocate, ways that I can support and remove barriers. So I have 2 more scheduled, so my hope was to have all of them complete by the fall. We'll see if that can happen. So, but things have been moving along really well. Mayfield Village has a new employer that moved to us from Wisconsin called Process Technology. They're a thermal heating and power supply product design and manufacture company. This project was supported by Team NEO with about a $200,000 grant. So it brought several hundred jobs into the district and created 66 totally new ones, for which those grant dollars are helping with upskilling and training. So really excited about that. I personally have taken an interest in our Human Rights Commission, just a little bit of a revival with some sponsorship and just making sure that that commission is getting the visibility that it deserves. A large infrastructure project in the district is the bridge project in downtown Chagrin Falls. It's about a $8.1 million project. I've actually been under the bridge, worn a hard hat, and met with their foremans and the whole team. It's going along beautifully. They're ahead of schedule. And Great Lakes Construction has been responsible for that project. They've been incredible, and the leadership in the community has been very pleased with how they've operated, and we believe that'll be open at least for pedestrian and vehicle traffic late this fall. That's what's slated to happen. So a number of things in a large district, but we're excited, and still much more to do this year.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, well, we're gonna call it a discussion. It's been a good start, and I like the cross flow of information about things going on. I think that's what we had in mind, and so I would just ask if there's any miscellaneous business. Hearing none, we're gonna adjourn the committee of the whole work session, and we're gonna start the regular committee of the whole in the council chambers, and we're gonna start it in 10 minutes from now. The staff needs a few minutes to get the technology realigned. Thank you.